Country roads, take me home. Let's go on another road adventure.
Hey everybody, this is Jonathan Marr, the Hometown Historian channel. We are going to do a Country Roads Take Me Home /vlog, just because it's easier. I'm on the way over I was just over with my mom. Today's my niece Ella's birthday, and I got a card for my mom to be able to give to Ella then, so she was able to sign it. And my mom loves caramels, so I got her a couple bags of caramels that she eats a couple a day. It's a little naughty, but she gotta have some fun. But anyways, so with the vlog today, I wanted to talk about a couple things. One of the things I wanted to bring up was, I don't think I made anybody mad, but you also can understand if somebody was thought maybe I was presenting a story in a way that is not supposed to be presented. I did the story with the bicentennial plaques that were in Orwigsburg. They had two different stories. One was Frederick Hesser, who was one of the drummer boys for Washington, and the other one was the Hartman tragedy. Now, the Hartman tragedy, something happened there, but what exactly happened and where the story eventually wound out at, I don't know. I think it's a story that got mixed in with the historical story of Regina Leininger. That's the story that we know 100% for sure that happened. I actually have pictures of her grave, and it even says on the gravestone Regina Leininger, in legend Regina Hartman. So when I did that video, I did it as a telling of the story of the Hartman tragedy and not so much on the Leininger story, simply because that's what was on the plaque, so therefore that's what I wanted to present. It wasn't because I was trying to slight, if you will, the Leininger story or the family. So it was in no way whatsoever was I trying to present this as that was their story. I mentioned that I believe this is the story of Regina Leininger. I brought her name up, and I said I'm not sure how much of this story is actual fact or if it got mixed in with another story or whatever happened, because I'm familiar with the Regina Leininger story, and maybe at some point we'll wind up doing a video here in the next coming weeks on the actual story of what happened with Regina Leininger. I had to do a little bit more research just to make sure I have all my facts correct on that story. But that's also a story that Cliff has told with the Wandering Woodsman channel. So there was no offense made in that regard. That's the way I was telling it from that perspective. Yeah. How close the two different families were, the tragedies happened as sort of they got intermixed, we'll never know. But from pretty much the captivity to when she was found again, that's Regina Leininger's story. What happened in the Hartman tragedy and to the people that were remaining, I don't know. The sister Barbara in the Leininger story actually escaped at some point in the captivity. Was not killed like they said. So, I mean, maybe in that story it was eerily similar, I don't know. But, like, where the mother sings the hymn, and that's how the daughter recognizes her. That's the Leininger story. So, and even that, there's some historians that don't think that might not be true, that might be just more a romanticized version. I honestly don't know. I would be quicker to trust family oral history than legend type history, where it's sort of, and that's sort of what the Hartman tragedy is to a degree. It's more of a legend type thing. You will see with historical markers and things like that, sometimes there are mistakes. Something that's in legend where there's partial truths, and unfortunately the whole story isn't there. And the Fort Manada historical marker, there was a lot of confusion when that was put up, probably in the 30s or the 50s. They thought that the James Brown's house was Fort Manada, which is what the sign describes, when in fact they were two separate places. But it's things like that. Sometimes they get corrected. It sort of is what it is. But I try not to be too nitpicky on things like that, because I can understand, like with history sometimes, especially when you're talking about history that's almost 300 years, stuff gets lost in translation. Sometimes stories that are pretty close, like in this case, get intermixed, and that's just sort of is what it is. So that was the video. I wanted to talk about that a little bit, just to clarify what I was trying to do. I was not telling the Leininger story. I was telling this Hartman legend, you know, because it had to do with the sign. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful to the Leininger family. So I do hope that clears that up, because I do care about that kind of stuff, you know, because it matters to those families. And in no way whatsoever was I trying to present a non-truth. But if you research it and you look it up, what they talk about the Hartman family, that's how the story is told. So, like I said, it's probably it's certainly an intermixing of those two stories, and that's how it's presented. So that's sort of how history works sometimes, and it is what it is. But anyways, hopefully coming up here, we told our last haunted history story for the year. We'll start that up again in probably February, because I sort of want to dwell on the Yuletide tales, and sort of I'd like to get the folk tales started up again, probably like Johnny Appleseed, because I want to talk about different folk heroes from around the world, and really talk about a lot of the folk tales and folk heroes here in America, because there's pretty intriguing ones, and like where they came from and their relation to real people, because Johnny Appleseed was actually based off of a historical character. So I want to talk about all that kind of stuff, and you know, what's myth and legend and what's fact. I find that kind of stuff really, really interesting. And then I'd like to get the Heroines of Hometown History and Tales of Hometown History, both of those started up. Folk stories as well. I'm working on the intros. So once I have those ready and done, then we'll start up those series again, hopefully in the next coming weeks. Also, a series I'd like to start up, which I think it'd be fun, is Inventions, the Greatest Inventions of Every State. There's an article that I picked up on Facebook, which we'll base everything off of, where it has the greatest invention for all 50 states. So I think that'd be a fun series to do. You know, go a little more into the inventors, go a little more into the inventions themselves, the place where they were invented. I think that'll be a fun little series to do. So that'll start up at some point. I'm hoping to get out live filming a little bit more, because like right now, my health is sort of what's holding me back in that regard. But I'm hoping here at some point I will get that started up again as well. I have a couple different things that I'd like to film live. I will be putting out another video. It's gonna have to do with sort of the way YouTube works, and some of the things that I'm going to try to start adding to the end of the video. it's something I don't necessarily enjoy doing, is sort of pushing the channel, the whole like, subscribe, and all that kind of stuff. Some people are really, really good at that. I'm sort of bashful about that because I feel like I'm pushing the thing harder than I need to, that the channel sells itself. But at the end of the day, I sort of have to start doing it because in essence, running a YouTube channel like this is like running a business. You have to sort of push that side of things, just because to grow, you just have to. And so I'm going to have a video that I'm going to talk about that. It'll be pretty short. And at some point then I'll wind up making some of these, sort of have fun with it at the end of videos after the outro, to just sort of say, hey, like, subscribe, help the channel to grow. All those sort of interactions on the channel help YouTube to see a channel that is growing and thriving, so therefore they will be more apt to push that type of channel. I also got to figure out, Cheryl was talking to me about the whole hashtag things or tagging your videos. I got to figure out exactly how to do that, because supposedly that winds out helping your channel as well. So I got to try a few different things that you'll see starting to happen at some point. I'm in the process of editing the video from the new camera, see how it looks exactly. It is more of a test video than anything, but then as I get more adept at that, that'll wind out taking over all the filming for the most part, because it's a 4K video, so it'd be better than this, and obviously the audio will be way better, battery life, things like that, storage capacity. It'll just make my life a lot easier to carry that thing around instead of having to use my phone. My fingers won't get into video, and just a lot of different things that irritate me in my videos. But it'll be things to improve the channel, and I'll talk a little bit more in that video about why I have certain things in place. It's not a money grab or anything like that, but when you do one of these things, content creation, it in essence, everything's coming out of your pocket. And thankfully I have a number of viewers and subscribers that have been really generous for me, and that helps to take care of some of those, to offset that. But it's just one of those things to help the channel to thrive and to grow, to visit new places, to do more live filming, that type of stuff. I just need to have some kind of income coming in from the channel. We're close with subscribers, so I'm trying a few of these different things to hopefully grow it a little quicker, and maybe I can wind out helping some of my friends with their channels then too, see some things that work for me that maybe will work for them as well, because it can be a little disconcerting and disappointing at times because you don't see your channel growing and you work really, really hard at it. One, because you love doing what you're doing, but two, because you do want to do this as something that you can call a career at some point. You're not going to get rich off of it or anything like that, but you can have it be fiscally rewarding as well, where you can actually have a career. I'll turn away because I don't like to show people's license plates, even though that one seems to not have a license plate. But anyways, so a lot of cool stuff coming up. And then, like I said, this other video will come out today as well that will talk about a little more in depth. And then I'm going to try to start doing a generic one to just say, hey, check out these things. Please hit like, subscribe, comment if you will. Things like that help the channel grow at a quicker pace. My channel starts getting put more in the forefront, because it's a pretty active and pretty much have content coming out every single day. It'll wind out helping it, YouTube to decide, okay, we need to promote this guy a little bit more. But anywho, I'll put that over there. But yeah, so channel's going well. I'm happy with where we're at. I am starting to feel, I think, a little bit better. Still don't feel great, but it's just sort of an up and down thing with me right now, but we'll figure it out. But anyways, I just want to say thank you guys for coming along. I think I covered everything. I probably didn't, but I'm trying to keep these a little more concise and short, so it's a little more tolerable to watch. But anyways, thank you once again, everybody, for coming along another journey. And as always, we'll see you all about town.